Very necessary.
We're in YouTube.
Hey, hi.
What up? Welcome back to Babylon 5 for the first time. Jeff,
Brent.
I feel like we hyped something and we lied to all the folks out there.
You think so?
Well, yeah, because when we got to Sleeping in Light, we're like, this is it. We've hit the end. We're there. Well, I mean, there's still more to come, and we're in the more to come phase right now. But no, this is still just our show. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's
here.
like same thing. Here's the same.
Yeah, it's just
same.
I mean, we tried saying like it's just the series proper that it's the end, but it felt like it was such a monumental thing.
Totally.
No, we're here now.
Well, I think for us, we've talked about it here before. That was going to be game over for us when we first planned this. Was we'll do 110 episodes.
Out.
Put that bad boy in the freezer and see who.
Oh, there's a couple
heats it
movies.
up.
Yeah, we could do the movies. That's fine.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, there's a spinoff show. Maybe.
Oh, some
What?
books.
Do the whole thing again? Actually, it
sure.
kinda sounds like maybe that works. What? Let's add all these other shows and other ideas to the whole shebang and become this thing to where we're never ending now. Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong? Like for
Right?
real, it seems great.
We'll keep doing it until we don't. So
Yeah, we can't.
let's
Hey, I'm pretty excited to talk about this one. Do you
get
want
into it, man.
You want to start
Let's
it
get
up?
into it. Yeah. Hey guys, listen, welcome. If you guys have been around for a while, you know the drill. But if this is your first time, every episode's somebody's first time. What's getting ready to happen is Jeff and I, my buddy over there, we are going to record an audio podcast about the movie Third Space from Babylon 5. What this is the
Third
behind the
Space?
scenes.
Oh shit!
Don't do that. Don't you do that.
I did the wrong one.
No, he didn't. He's messing with me.
No.
What you guys are about to see here, this is the behind the scenes recording of how we make that podcast. This is how the pizza is topped, Jeff. It's been a while since I've done one of these.
It has been.
This is how the lasagna is layered. This is how the burger is assembled, much like the Avengers.
Hey, how about we just start this? It's not good. Put the shovel down. Put the shovel down.
This is how the crabs are steamed.
I don't like crab.
Hit that button to make me stop, please.
All right. Again, down in the comments, let me know what you think of
thank you.
the open. I'll be really honest. This one was a bit more difficult, and I didn't spend as much time on it. Still, I think it might be okay. Here we go.
A memory, a warning embedded in the thoughts of each generation and passed on to the next.
You and several other women, but I don't really think we need to go into the details.
Now that is a lie.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time, not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Aiken, and I am the one who was.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I am the one who will be.
And we are watching Babylon 5 for the first time for you, the one who is.
That's right. Jeff and I are two veteran Star Trek podcasters searching for the important messages in Babylon 5, this new show neither one of us have seen, but we're looking for how Babylon 5 is delivering those messages in its own unique way.
And to be really clear, not in a Star Trek way. In fact, Brent, we are so much not a Star Trek podcast. It's literally in the name of our show. And we play a game to prove it. That game is called the Rule of Three. This is a game where we limit ourselves to no more than 3 references to Star Trek per episode total.
That's it. 3. Uno, dos, tres. No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
And if we make one of those references, you're going to hear
This bad boy.
That's right, Jeff. Well, no, sorry. The note is off.
Yes.
It's not our normal notes.
Exactly.
I was like, wait, that's not how I say this.
Yeah. Because we don't do the thing. So it's just,
Oh, but we did the thing this time.
but we don't do the sound and the thing and the whatever
Oh, yeah,
unless
that's
we
fair.
want to. But yeah.
That's fair. All right. Hey, give me a buzz. That's right, Jeff. And right along with our game, The Rule of Three, there's another game that we like to play here. It's a tradition, tradition at this point, Jeff, where at the end of an episode, we take a look at the title of the next, in this case, movie that we are watching, and we make a guess as to what that movie might be about. Well, this is now time for us to play.
Time to pay the piper. I'm going to have to
Doesn't
insert
have
it.
the sound drop.
I don't. I pulled that one off quick.
You gotta be prepared here, Jeff. Let's hear it. Time to pay the piper. Yes, that's right. And we revisit our prediction from last week to see just how right we were. Jeff, what did you say Third Space was going to be about? How hard did you ride my coattails on this particular prediction?
Well, we rode the same coattails to just a word pretty much at the end. So we were both very much right. And there's regular space, there's hyperspace, and there's third space.
Dude, nailed it.
Boom. There, done.
I was
Wait,
gonna say,
no.
that's 100%. I don't care what the other stuff was. That's it.
That's
That's what
it.
this movie was. Yeah.
Now, I will say the prediction I took on was that it would involve techno mages, and it's a real shame they did not.
I talked about being Beyond the Rim.
You did.
And that's where these guys are from, is from Beyond the Rim. So
Are they, though?
it was my understanding of it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I don't know
That's
about that.
that's part of, like, they're out there in the thing. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll find out. We might be unlocking the multiverse in our conversation. But already there's got to be some people out there who are a little confused about what do they mean Beyond the Rim? How could it possibly be that? What is this third space thing? So if you haven't seen this film in a while, don't remember anything about it, watched it, erased it from your memory for some reason, Brent, why don't you remind all of us what third space is about?
The place, Babylon 5, a space station out in the middle of nowhere. Time, a nondescript period in the middle of season 4, sometime after the Shadow War, but before the Earth Civil War. Ivanova is out with a bunch of Star Furies being a badass. After a very successful mission of trapping some pirates, Ivanova and her Star Fury crew come across an object in hyperspace. A very, very, very large object. Thankfully, in space, even very, very, very large objects are still pretty much weightless, which makes it no problem for this little group of Star Furies to tow this big bad boy back to the station. News of this discovery has reached Earth, and IPX has arrived at the station to check it out. At 1 million years old, they're super interested. So Dr. Trent, IPX's stooge, and her team begin to study the object. Meanwhile, on the station, people are beginning to exhibit really strange behavior. They're becoming aggressive, agitated, and even violent. Lita, on the other hand, is going full-on Benny Russell, writing on the walls, muttering to herself, and even demanding that the artifact be destroyed. "It's dangerous," she says. In fact, she's so far into this trance, Zach finally works up the courage to ask her out, but his timing is all wrong. She has absolutely no response, doesn't hear a word he says, but he takes that as rejection, thus answering our question, Jeff, from many, many, many episodes ago. Hey, whatever happened there? Well, lots and lots and lots of minutes of this movie are spent showing how the artifact is impacting folks on B5 and showing how IPX is discovering almost nothing about it and just making us wonder, okay, what is it? Finally, we eventually get an answer as to what the object actually is. Lita, going full-on Marvel Cyclops here and channeling whatever echo of the Vorlons remain in this galaxy, tells us the whole thing in one big exposition dump. This object is in fact an ancient jump gate created by the Vorlons themselves when they were in an era of pride and hubris that only the Goa'uld could relate to, as they attempted to make contact with what they thought were actual gods, not just the fake gods that they had been posing as. They had discovered this sort of parallel universe, not normal space, not hyperspace, but a third space to get in between the two, if you will. This universe was inhabited by beings older, more telepathic, and much more violent than they themselves were. It's a race hell-bent on exterminating all lower life forms in the universe, which is pretty much every life form that's not them. Unfortunately, that jump gate that the Vorlons built was not just a one-way door, and unwittingly, the Vorlons allowed these maleficent beings into our universe. A battle ensued, resulting in a stalemate, really, at best. But the Vorlons were finally able to shut the gate down. But the gate wound up getting launched into hyperspace to hide it, to prevent the Vorlons from actually destroying it. So we lost it. We didn't really know where it was until Ivanova and her crew found it. Lyta tells Sheridan how to destroy it once and for all. So first, what they have to do is they have to open it up. Then they got to go get Randy Quaid to fly a jet with a bomb stuck to its wing right into the light while yelling, "Up yours!" Lots of pew, pew, pew ensues. Big battle scenes, more fighting back on the station and in space. The plan works. The object's destroyed. The telepathic links to all the folks on the station are severed, and everyone starts to return to normal. Now, while Sheridan does his best to cover up what really happened because we can't tell folks what's going on, Lyta is left to stew over this just being one of the many, many mistakes that our friends the Vorlons made during their time in this galaxy. Jeff, what did you make of this movie, Third Space?
Brett, I loved this movie. This was good, hard sci-fi, like just sci-fi. There wasn't, we had Babylon 5 story, you know, of course, woven in with the whole Vorlon stuff and everything, but this was just sci-fi, and I loved it. I'm glad you mentioned it in the thing. I was kind of confused on the timeline a couple of times, and I got, part of it is, I think I'm still like Sleeping in Light and War Without End, and, you know, kind of these in the future things. And so remembering that the Interstellar Alliance doesn't exist, that Lyta hasn't been Byroned yet, you know? And so it's like, oh, okay, that's right. But I had this aha near the end that ultimately this is Babylon 5's take on Star Trek, the motion picture. Like, they stole scenes directly from that film. Spock flying in a spacesuit into V'ger, they used the exact same camera angles with Sheridan flying into the artifact. And I'm not saying that as a derisive thing at all. Like, visually, that is a film that should be copied. It's a visually gorgeous movie, and they did a really good job with this thing. I loved the Mass Effect vibes that this had. So you had the artifact that was there. In Mass Effect, we have the Reapers, and they had a really similar indoctrination kind of a protocol that happened. It rang me back to the show The 100, in I think it was the second season, when they had the City of Light storyline going on of like, oh, we want to go to this place. But I didn't catch this on my first watch, but when I was watching it and taking notes, it hit me that this, not only is it good hard sci-fi, this is a good like Lovecraftian horror film. So you've got like Call of Cthulhu or Cthulhu or Cthulhu or however you say that. I say Cthulhu. Where
Cthulhu.
Is it? You know what? I doubt any of those are right.
I'm correct. Everyone else is wrong. That's
Okay.
just how it goes.
Oh,
Just remember, me and Ivanova, when in doubt, trust us.
Can't argue with that, really. It's true. But for those not familiar,
Everybody who's listened to this show for any amount of time is like, oh, really? Shall we go to the tape, Brent?
and here, they have their own red yarn little thing back here. Just like, they're like, no. Gosh, so there were so many. So where was I? So you got Cthulhu, who is an old god, comes up from the depths of the ocean to destroy all humanity and be worshipped, essentially. This is the same thing. These whatevers come from the depths of hyperspace to destroy everything. They even had, like, in the Call of Cthulhu, the city he was in, I heard it was called like Rylea or Ryel or something like that, I forget. But You had all this like, you know, like non-Euclidean like architecture and weird stuff going, big spires. Well, that's what the city thing looked like here. The big spire going up into there. I really feel that this was an intentional take on Call of Cthulhu and H.P. Lovecraft stuff. There's there's even a whole thing. All I'm doing is using references to give my opening thoughts. That's it. But to stay on the BioWare tip, Dragon Age, right? So much of the Dragon Age story are the old ancient magisters going up into the Golden City to take on the gods and become gods themselves. That was all of Dragon Age Inquisition, was Corypheus, who was one of them who, you know, became one of the dark gods, essentially. You know, it's the same story, just it was the Vorlons going to do it to whatever these things were. I love, and I'm not saying any of these references in a way to bag on this. I think that good sci-fi is inspired by other good sci-fi, and this was a beautiful amalgamation of all these different references. I love this movie. Also, probably one or two of my top 3 Sheridan and Delenn interactions in this one. I really liked them as a couple in this film. What were your first thoughts on it?
Jeff, I really enjoyed this. In fact, I'll go out on a limb. I enjoyed this more than in the beginning. I really did. You know, I know a lot of people love In the Beginning. They say it's the best of the movies. I thoroughly liked this film. I will also say this did not feel like a movie.
It had that episode feel, right?
This felt exactly like an episode of Babylon 5 more than it felt like anything else to me. It just felt like a 2-part episode that they smashed together. You know, I do feel like it was a little long. It was, the material they had in here was more than 1 episode, but not quite enough for 2 episodes. And so that I found myself probably about the 35-minute mark up till we got Lita explaining what was going on, which was like 1 hour and 10. Like there was like this whole 30-minute segment that was just like, okay, I get it. We don't know what this thing is. Yes, it's messing with people on the station. Okay, what is it? Oh, look, they don't know what it is some more. Okay. Like I was like, come on, let's get on with it, you know? But gosh, I loved this. I loved this movie. What this movie did was it told me that season 4 actually had 24 episodes, not 22.
Yeah.
You know,
like that.
This was a set of episodes that was in the middle of the season and really probably should be watched at whatever point it comes in the middle of the season. There are key pieces of overall plot that it gives us. We got more of Ivanova in this episode than I think we got in most of season 4. Like Ivanova felt, you know what we were saying about her, like in that last season, especially, we just sort of like we lost something from her.
Totally.
You know, this, like, it was like, oh, Ivanova's back. Like this is the kind of Ivanova stuff that we'd come to expect. And I loved that from her. I 100% agree with you about Sheridan and Delenn. In fact, my note down here was, they're so cute.
Yeah, they really
They're
were.
so cute. They were adorable and not married yet.
Exactly.
You know, but they were just so cute. The Zach and Lita stuff, Jeff, we're going to get into this a whole lot later, but hey, we were wondering what was going on, and this kind of gave us an answer. Was it a good answer? Was it not an answer? Was it satisfying? We'll discuss that in a few moments. But regardless of all of my criticisms of this episode, the effects were on point. The story was on point. The pacing was on point. This is good television that we've come to expect from JMS and the production crew there at Babylon 5. Mwah! I loved it.
Yeah. You say that about the middle kind of 30-ish minutes or so. And I think I made a comment when I watched it the first time around the pacing of it, but I agree. I think it's such a great way to describe it. It's a 1.5 parter.
Yeah.
This would have really benefited from a B story.
Mm-hmm.
Just to fill stuff in a little bit, you know, and I don't know what it would have been. And although what it could have been, I don't know. So one of the things I loved about this. Let's just call it an episode. One of the things I loved about the episode was just the continuity pieces. We had Deuce. And from all the way back in Grail, he had that Knuckleine feeder thing. He was the little crime boss guy. So we had Deuce come on.
I thought I recognized him.
Yeah.
You're talking about the dude with the real Southern drawl accent guy. Yeah. I thought I recognized him. I was like, I know this guy.
It was funny because he came on. I remember saying something like, "Hey, there's that guy." I just don't remember who that. And then they said, "That's Deuce," and I'm like, "What's that?" It totally was same actor who played Deuce.
Yeah.
They had when in the episode where Ivana was trying to like get people to start breaking the blockade and shipping stuff, and she's got the raiders in the room, and they talk about Garibaldi going bald and all that. They had that super bleach blonde guy in there. He was just running around in the background, like he was there. Super great continuity. There could have been a whole second story of just that, right? Just, I don't know. That's the only rewrite. Well, one of the only rewrites I would have done in this whole thing, but we'll get, you said, we'll get to that one. But, I don't know. Let's talk about IPX and Elizabeth Trent a little bit.
Okay. Can I tell you my response as soon as they came on screen or as soon as they mentioned them? I was like, I know these guys. I got this one.
I know.
I remember these guys.
I said, he was like, IPX. Oh my God, that's that. When they said, I think it was IPX, or when they said one of the things, I was like, oh my God, are they going to bring Catherine Sakai back? Like, is this the chance? No, it wasn't. But the note I really made, I said, insert the Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk trope into Babylon 5, and you get Elizabeth Trent.
Yeah.
I'm your evil corporation person. Was it just my viewing, or was she super orange? Like distractingly so?
No, I think that was probably the settings on your TV. I did not. It didn't do anything to me.
Oh, I couldn't not see it.
Yeah.
Did you recognize her second?
Bill Morishi, and who we've seen him. What episode was he? And he was this character. Was he the one who was like flying them down to Epsilon 3 and back up or something like that?
He was in, I think it was Spider in the Web, maybe. I forget which one he was in. You should know him from somewhere else though.
He probably an admiral on Star Trek or something.
Yeah, Admiral Nakamura in The Next Generation.
Yeah.
I looked him up just because I wanted to make sure that he had, was in the things he was. His first acting credit was in 1974.
Wow.
And he's still working. Like to this day.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I was impressed. But I felt pretty early on, I'm like, yeah, this guy's going to die. It's not going to go well. What did you think, though, about the end, to get to the end a little bit with her, when she was she totally took the blame, took accountability for everything that happened? What did you think about
actually, I think my note was, I want to hear what Jeff has to say about this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. I think the trope is, you pesky socialists, I'll get you next time and make more money and whatever. She sat down and she's like, yeah, I got way out of control. I messed up and I need to go away for a while. It wasn't even, I'm going to quit or whatever. I'm going to go away for a while and figure out if this is what I actually want to be doing or not. That might have been, message-wise, one of the most powerful scenes.
Yeah.
In this. It was just like, oh my God. And I love it too. Part of my professional life is acknowledging second chances, rehabilitation, change that people can experience. And we saw it happen here, and now that I'm saying that too, let's juxtapose, let's overlay that with a person who is sadly missing from this episode, but had a decent stand-in, but Londo Mollari. At various points, he did not and did take accountability for the things that happened with him. And in fact, one of our top episodes of the series, I'm going to imagine, was him coming to terms with taking accountability for killing all the Narns and treating Jakar like a piece of garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Just I think it was a really great way of hitting that Babylon 5 message. I keep wanting to talk about this theme, but we'll get to it in it's time. Let's transition from that really quick. The stand-in for Londo, Veer got a lot to do in this episode.
Veer got some stuff. Okay, help me out. Was Veer in the beginning? I don't think he was.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so let's track this. Who was missing from in the beginning? Was Garibaldi in the beginning?
Garibaldi was missing.
Lanier
was missing.
Jakar
Jakar
he
was in
there. Franklin was in it. Londo was in it. Sheridan, Delenn. That's our Lita. Lita wasn't there.
Yeah,
that's pretty much our cast. Okay.
Yeah, I think yeah.
In this movie, we're missing Londo, Jakar, Lanier, Garibaldi. I didn't even know that we were missing Garibaldi till the end. I was like,
it took me a while. Yeah, same.
Garibaldi's not even been like. I think they mentioned his name, and I was like, oh wait a minute, where has he been this film?
I couldn't remember like in the placement of season 4. Was this when he ran off to Edgar's? Like, is this when he was on Mars meeting with William Edgar's?
Maybe,
probably. But I loved Veer walking in with Sheridan and Delenn. So actually, let's talk about this whole scene. So we found the artifact. It's come up. It's outside of Babylon 5. Sheridan and Delenn are walking down the corridor, and Veer's, kind of chasing up behind him. And he's like, hey, my people need to be there while you're doing this. And Sheridan's like, no, not going to happen.
Yeah.
And he just kept going. I loved how Veer just didn't take no for an answer. Like, he pushed. That was good stuff.
Mm-hmm. But he was also still Veer. He's like, so, I'm here and I'm speaking for the League, and what's going on? You need to
exactly. Yeah, you need to be open with us.
Yeah. See, I loved Veer. He was being his normal squirrely self, because remember, this isn't the Veer who took a katana blade and chopped up somebody's shop yet.
Exactly. He had to build up to that.
But this was him building in that, like getting the chutzpah to start doing stuff like that. So yeah, no, I'm with you. I said there, I love Veer coming in and speaking for the League.
Yeah. And then after that, Sheridan, I had a real problem with Sheridan in this whole scene, because I'm telling
Bruce,
go ahead. I'm not afraid.
Bring it on, bro. You're like 84 years old now.
Although, dude's such a hardcore. When he did the cameo for us that our amazing Discord community set up for us, he had COVID and still did maybe I don't want to. You're good, man. You're good.
Listen, I did two of these shows with COVID, so
Yeah, right.
Don't mess with me.
It's hard stuff. It takes a oof to get through that, right?
Right.
But I was really critical of Sheridan and the Interstellar Alliance all through season 5 of just like, is this the League? Is this just now a new dictatorship or a tyranny, with Sheridan at the top, and he's dressed it with all this fancy verbiage? This was exactly that. Sheridan and Delenn in a bubble making a decision that impacted all of the galaxy. Now, yes, there's jurisdiction and things like that because it's Babylon 5, but at this point, they have their Babylon treaty with people, they've signed as they've seceded from Earth. There's still like the council, advisory council, the League of Non-Aligned Worlds are still a thing. And he's just in a bubble making his decisions. I thought that was uncool. And I appreciated Delenn basically calling him on it. She's just like, every time something new comes in, you do this. And it was such a great scene. Like, she's just talking. And she's like, these two suns rising up. And then you're just like, they say, mine. She was amazing.
So I'll vamp while Jeff does this stuff. Yeah, we're real family men, and family always comes first. So we'll sit here
All right,
and patiently.
we're good.
You're good. You're good, man. You are good.
It's early evening here, and she's wanting to go play outside and stuff like that. So
Set
had
the
to do the
ground
dad
rules and let her
thing.
go.
Exactly.
Yeah, do the dad thing. You're a good dad, Jeff.
Aw,
I've seen it
thanks,
firsthand.
dude.
You're a good dad. You really are.
Thank you.
The only thing I really wanted to hear in that point was for Dylan to just be sitting there going, mine,
Yes.
mine.
In fact, if it doesn't exist already, I want one of you out there to make that. Take that little movie clip.
Mine.
Yep.
Mine.
Just drop that over it.
You know, but here's the thing. I think what that really showed was Sheridan, despite his duty, despite his position, despite his, hey, we just broke away from Earth and we're kind of hanging out here on our own, is still a guy who has his own personal ideas and wants and desires and curiosities and his own pride and he still has his own territory, you know,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
he's still just that. And he's like, no, that's not, well, okay, maybe
Kind of
just
a little.
and like, he didn't even like he just had a smile on his face about it. Like, yeah, it's okay. Like, I loved it. And she was just like, it's all you, but she's calling him on it and she's smiling at him and they're so cute.
They are. And
So
it
cute.
spoke so much to just the trust and vulnerability in their relationship that she's just totally flicking crap at him, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you're right. Yep."
Right. Well, and because at one point she's like, it's the truth. And he's like, well, the truth is damned inconvenient. She's like, the
Yeah.
truth is always damned inconvenient. Like, yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Great line. By the way, JMS, I know you watch every single one of these. No, he doesn't. That was a great line. Great line. Good job.
There are a couple really good lines in this.
Oh,
one,
yeah.
actually.
There's a lot in this episode or movie.
One of my-
Episodes, things.
One of my other favorite lines following the Veer path is after he and Ivanova share a dream and they're in the lift together. He's like, yeah, there's you and a couple other women, a couple other ladies. We don't need to go into details. But I loved that so much because it was a foreshadow of him, President Scroobing, in
Yeah.
Sleeping in Light.
Listen, I was going to sit there and go like, wait, Veer's a man right now, dude. Look at him. Go,
Right.
dude. Go.
I would totally get indoctrinated as well. And I love that he got indoctrinated.
Yeah.
It made it sympathetic for us. If it was Deuce and some lurkers from down below, oh, that sucks, whatever. But they got Veer, man. Like they got Veer. I thought that was a really good move.
I don't remember if it was in the scene that we were talking about with just Sheridan or if it was a different scene later, but there's a moment where he goes full on drawl. And he goes, exciting, isn't it?
Oh,
And he,
did,
says
didn't
it
he?
just like Drawl did that one time. That's now like a big gif. I was like, yes.
And again, another missed opportunity with Drawl. The artifact might have been impacting the Great Machine
Right.
and everything. I'm going to bring that. We need Drawl in these movies.
I hope that's a thing.
That one five.
I want to talk about Ivanova for a few.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of great Ivanova moments in this episode. There's the opening piece, which she's going to go out. They're going to do this thing. Hey, congratulations, Commander. You set the mousetrap. There's the cheese. You set the mousetrap. Okay. Immediately knew when I saw that, that's going to come back into play later at the end of this film.
Right. Yeah.
Which is exactly, they had to set the mousetrap again in order to make something happen. But when she's out there with her group and she's commanding them, okay, you stay here and be the anchor, and you're going to go over there, and you're going to go here, and you're going to do this, and I'm going to fly here, and no, we don't need to go home. We can just go check this out. We're good. We're going to fly this. She's just boss Ivanova, you know? But I think my favorite Ivanova moment in the entire episode, she's having a conversation with Franklin.
Yes. Yep. This is mine too.
And she's like, how many of these guys do you think I could kill before they, talking about the IPX people, right? How many could I kill before they would start to notice? Franklin sets the over under at 6.
The 6. Yeah.
Like, Ivanova was going to take the over as well.
Uh-huh.
She's
Yeah.
like,
She's like, I'll give that a shot. That sounds good.
yeah. I don't think they'll notice till we get 6. That's when.
I feel like Franklin had another side bet somewhere of like, can we get Ivanova to kill a bunch of people? And he's like, here's my chance.
Well, he eventually was like, just, you could do one. It's fine.
Yeah,
Just get one.
Settle down and only be reasonable here and only do
Right.
one. In that opening scene when she was out in the Star Fury, I couldn't help but think back to in the beginning when we saw her say goodbye to Ganya, right? And at that point in her life, she wasn't going to be a career military person necessarily, you know, and that whole thing led to her joining up and whatever, which led to that moment of her just leading the whole squad, Delta squad. Like she had them and it was just killing it. And I don't know, having just watched in the beginning, I think that scene had a lot more emotional punch in it than was intended, but I thought it was really, really great.
I did not connect those two pieces.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's good. That's a good call. I like that.
Yeah. Just seeing her in the helmet took me there. It was like, oh my gosh.
Well, did you also notice on her Star Fury, she had the, like, and I was looking, I didn't see other like personalized Star Furies out there, but Ivanova had her, I couldn't tell what it was. Did she have like a phoenix or something like that?
Griffin,
like,
I think.
a griffin. Yeah. Yeah. She, like, you could see it painted on her Star Fury as she was flying away.
I didn't even notice that. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty cool. It was
It's like you get to a certain rank, you get a beyond Kefir, and then you can personalize your Star Fury. Did you know?
oh.
As a total side note, I forget the actor who played Kefir, but he has a movie called like Damning Babylon or something like that, and it's like it's just happens to.
All right, one more thing about Ivanova. To go back to the dream sequence you were referencing earlier, when she's in this dream and she's walking around and like she opens the door and there's the light and all that sort of stuff, and all I could think is I just want to hear this voice come out there and go, "I am Zool. Are you the gatekeeper or the keymaster?" I was just like, that's what this is, man.
It was with a bunch of like alien, like with the little like xenomorph tentacles coming out to grab her and stuff. Like it was
right up on her face and everything. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. But could you imagine Claudia Christian in Ghostbusters instead of like say Sigourney Weaver? Totally would have worked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
There is no Dana, only Zool. Zool is God.
Right.
But I think I also love, speaking of loving Veer being indoctrinated, I love that Ivanova wasn't. Like she got pulled in to the city.
Yeah.
It checked her out and was like, no, you're not going to be helpful for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thought that was cool. Well, that kind of leaves
Do
us
you think it had anything to do with her latent telepath stuff?
I was thinking that same thing. I think I even brought that up a couple of times. And even when they were pulling the artifact and she had a couple, like there's a couple like, kind of move things that she had. Maybe. But then on the other hand, well, did it indoctrinate Lita? Not so much,
No.
but it communicated with her.
Not the artifact didn't.
Yeah, it was just the Vorlon presence.
It was
right?
the Vorlon thing that was hitting
right.
Lita the whole time. Yeah. In fact, that was my note was, it's not the artifact, it's the Vorlons that have been doing this to her, which makes sense because her response was entirely different
than
everybody else's.
Yeah, so maybe it was her telepathy because I don't think anybody that we know of, with a psi rating. I did transitioning over to Lita.
Well, before you do that, I have a question. Did we know that they could expand the jump gate struts for bigger ships?
That seemed really risky to me. Like, what if you can't pull them back? Like,
how far can you expand them? Because they said this thing was 15 miles across or something stupid like that.
Yeah, just huge.
Yeah.
It was a cool scene, but as soon as it started happening, I'm like, oh my God, like they're going to lose their jump gate. Let's pull it apart. Oh, shoot, that one's oh, well, no. Got to find some Quantium 40.
So transitioning to Lita, let's start with where we began with Lita. What did you make of the whole scene with the two brothers and the affair and all that kind of stuff right at the top of the film?
It's dumb. It was. It
I
wasn't
thought it was
dumb.
hilarious. I thought it was so funny. And I was like, there's no way this brother had an affair with his wife. He's going to get through all this. And it turns out he's not. And I was nailed. I mean,
Well, you think you nailed. So my question with that was
yeah.
she totally distracted and didn't actually read him at all, and it's just like, no, like I'll just call it. I thought it was a dumb scene. It was funny. It was an okay. Like it wasn't like bad. It was just dumb, and there's a handful of scenes throughout Babylon 5. There was the one where Garibaldi was starting his finding lost things business after the Centauri War stuff, and there's the dime store Dom DeLuise that he was working with that one time, where it's just like a little over the top and a little like, and then there's the AI and the computer that you liked and other people liked, and I think was might be even dumber than Byron in the canon of Babylon 5.
You're wrong. Jeff, I'm sorry. You're just wrong. Bad. It was so good.
Maybe, and as I'm thinking that, maybe all those things are like of a type of humor, and I just don't find that fun. I don't find it offensive or bad, except for the AI. That was just bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was okay, and it served its purpose. I didn't really laugh at it at all.
So Jeff, I have a whole thing where I really want to get into talk about Lita and the Vorlons and what's going on there and that whole deal. But there's this whole other thing with Lita that I feel like we need to address. Do you want to do that first, or you want to save that?
Let's just get it out of the way. Yeah.
All right, Lita and Zach in an elevator.
Lita and Zach in an elevator. Oof.
Yeah. Living it up while Zach is going down.
Going down in
Hardcore.
flames. Let me just to create the container around this conversation. This scene was 248 seconds long.
I can't believe you actually went and looked at that.
4 minutes, 8 seconds. The second time I watched it, when I was taking notes, like it just kept going. And I'm like, how freaking long? So I actually went back and like marked the time of the whole thing. This took almost 5 minutes.
I'm pretty sure, Jeff, for whatever it's worth, I'm pretty sure that I've heard that particular scene was added because they were running a little short on time.
Just a little.
Well, about 4 minutes
Right.
and however many seconds it was.
Yeah. Oh man, that scene would have been incredible if it was about 30 seconds long.
Yeah.
Him giving let me just say my primary problem. I despise that scene. I hate it. I would love to surgically extract it and put just hyperspace with nothing happening for 5 minutes in there. It would be better. This just totally undercut Zach in so many ways. He is an incredible head of security. He is amazing. He's observant. He sees patterns. He's able to, we've seen him be so competent at his job, and to not notice that she isn't even like there. She's mouthing things and not even there. Like, I get it for a little while because it took courage and he's got the adrenaline and the whatever, and he's saying the stuff, but like, he's not going to notice that she's totally somewhere else. He's going to keep going for that long.
I don't know, Jeff. You get me around my wife sometimes like that, and I'm just like, she's pretty. I like her.
That's fair. Also, you're not the head of security for anywhere. Like,
this is truth. This is truth. So here's the thing. I didn't mind the scene. I thought the scene was fine. This isn't why they wound up. This is why they never wound up together. This is all
like
those
that.
things. Okay, fine. My biggest problem with the scene was they didn't come back to it later. They left this as the resolution to that whole thing. And what I needed in my soul was a little scene at the end of the film where Lita acknowledges that she heard what Zach was saying and still says no. Or Zach tried again and Lita's like, no, or I can't because like something. This could have been the thing that really began to accelerate Lita's psi uppage.
right.
You know what I mean? Like it really could have been, and for her to be like, look, my brain is just jacked right now. I can't do anything for you. Sorry. You know, I'd love to, but, or even just say, hey, let's go out for pizza and as friends.
Yeah.
Like,
right. Yeah.
you know,
Or even Delenn him a little bit of like have him come
Yeah.
and be like, hey, so about that thing in the lift. And she's like, what thing in the lift? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you know, give him a shred of, you know, try and give him some dignity back.
yeah,
or
but
something.
I needed them to come back to that and just to have her address that at the end.
Yeah.
And they didn't, because what this goes out on, and this is where I'm really disappointed with Zach as a character, because we've seen Zach be squirrely. We've seen Zach be, you know, he sold himself for $50 a week.
Right. Yeah.
Until he didn't, and he ripped off that armband, and he made all these strides and now he goes into an elevator and he shoots his shot, Jeff.
Mhm.
He works up the courage, you know, and I know I don't care how old you are, that's still a nervous thing to put yourself out there when you say stuff like that.
It's horrifying.
He shoots that out there, and as your point, he doesn't even notice anything about it, but he just talks himself out of it. Oh, okay. Well, okay. I guess I must have read that wrong. I probably shouldn't have said anything at all. Maybe I just shouldn't have brought it up. Yeah, let's just pretend like this never, like, and she's like, she never said anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know? And listen, can I give some advice to the young folk out there? All right. Whether you're male, female, you're the one asking out or whatever. Sometimes here's what you need to do. Shut up and live in the silence until they talk.
Yeah.
And it's awkward, but just stop trying to fill the silence and just live there and wait for the response.
That's
And
life advice.
And don't assume that no response is a response, because that's not always the case. You know? So
Yeah. That's just not hitting on people. That's people.
Yeah.
Like, say your thing, shut up.
Yeah. I just really needed them to come back to that at the end when Lita was back in her right brain, and they didn't. And so I'm disappointed. As much as we talked about what happened with them, to be like, oh, this is it. Is really how I'm left with it. So
Yeah. That makes
but
sense.
I thought the scene was fine, you know, but
I can see how people like the scene.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's you can look at it and play it for laughs, and it's great. Jeff Conaway did it was great. They were both great in their roles for what happened in there. The writing was okay. I mean, a lot of the lines he used probably worked then in the late 90s. They're not translatable nowadays to stuff. But I don't want to apply today's lens to what was written back then, but I could see it being funny. I think honestly, I respect the character of Zach so much that I feel personally offended by how he was done in this scene.
Yeah. Not necessarily as offended as I felt about the way Lanier was done,
Yeah.
but yeah, still offended.
Which totally offended.
Yeah.
Totally.
So Lita, let's talk about Lita as a whole with what's going on with her. So again, keeping in the continuity of the show for where we are in the middle of season 4, we really, in this episode, get more confirmation or harder evidenced confirmation of her advanced psi abilities from the Vorlons.
Yeah.
Like that she was altered, and we really get a hardcore deal with that. The whole deal about her backstory, Jeff, where she was dropped off by the shuttle, or she was dropped off by the ship, and she was hanging out in a shuttlecraft, and at the once they went away, and kind of at the last moment, she was rescued by the Vorlons, and they took her and had their way with her.
Yeah.
And I use those words very specifically. We
Put her
knew
in a
that.
back
This is not
Yes.
new news to us, right?
No, we just got to see it here.
Okay.
There was no new information imparted in here. I think this was one, it was showing it to us, and I think it was
Yeah.
exposition for people who were new to the series or whatever. just bringing up to speed on who this Lita was and whatever.
So Lita's going crazy. She's doing the mouth thing, right? And she's writing on walls, and she's like, "It's dangerous. We gotta do something. We gotta do something. We gotta do something." What are you making of Lita's? And again, in those minutes, that 30-minute, like, oh my God, Lita's like, she's still going crazy, just like we can't figure out what the hell that thing is out there. Like, it just went on too long, in my opinion. But what are you thinking about Lita as she's losing her mind?
I thought the acting was really well done. I think it
Yeah.
fit. I think my favorite moment in all of it, my two favorite moments, the one you already referenced a little bit, but when they had it was all when she was in med bay and they had the cameras on her and like she looks right at them.
Yeah.
Which, later on in, if I think long enough, I'll remember the episode, but in late season 5, where she's like, Garibaldi's like, "Hey, we'll keep it quiet because of that camera." And she's like, "Gosh, what camera?" Like, right. I just took it out. So it's neat foreshadowing, but I loved that. And then I loved just her interaction with Franklin. It was really cool. Franklin was so confused. He didn't know what was going on. And so he's just like grasping at straws. And she's just like, "Bro, I told you I don't know. Can I please just go home?" I don't know. I think as much as we liked the Delenn and Sheridan relationship thing, this was a really cool Lita and Franklin relationship moment.
Watch out, Lita. Warning.
Right. She's a little, they know he knows her. So
yeah. He wants to know her.
Yeah.
Biblically.
But I was curious in that whole thing, how Dr. Trent knew about her getting altered by the Vorlon.
Is it possible that that's actually like, I don't want to say public knowledge, but it's in a report
I don't know.
that she might have had access to?
Because I think at this point, that was all still, like, it was still speculative. This had to have been after, was it Moments of Transition? The episode where Bester came and was like, "Hey, I want your body." And, and set up the deal, basically. Because she was a working Psychor person at the beginning. So it's after that episode. And I think, he knew something was up, but he didn't know what was up because he wanted to dissect her when she was done and figure it out. So I don't think it was like, I don't think anybody knew necessarily at this point. Well, no, because they knew because she was used in on Mars. She was on the Mars operation with the Teepsicles. So yeah, maybe that might be what that might
Yeah,
be.
it's got to be a report out there somewhere that has that. So then Lita goes all Cyclops.
Yep.
Finally, to tell us what the freak is actually happening here. And she's doing this whole thing where she's embodying a Vorlon. Like, that was not Lita. That was somebody else taking over. I felt like we were in the middle of a Star Trek episode at that point. I mean, we've seen this in Star Trek before. We've seen this. And honestly, chill, guys. It's not just Star Trek. It's a sci-fi thing. Like, how often we had it in Stargate.
Yeah,
a whole
exactly.
entity takes over one of our cast members and talks to us and has a whole thing. Like, and they start. Go ahead.
Oh no, you please.
I was gonna say they start just word vomiting everything of what happened, and honestly, I thought the explanation was really well done. It was really well delivered. A lot of times when I hear exposition dumps like that, it takes me a couple times of watching it before I really fully process the threads of what they're talking about. But this one was really not that hard to follow. You know, like it was pretty like, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. At that moment though, I had my note in here that it was the Vorlons contacting Lita, not the artifact. Because I was still under the impression it was the artifact all the way up till that moment.
Yeah. With it being the Vorlons that contacted her, my note was, shoot, maybe we shouldn't have been so quick to send the Vorlons beyond the rim. They probably could have really helped with this thing.
Yeah.
Kicking themselves a little bit. But no, I agree. It was a huge exposition dump. I think it was super. There were a couple lines in there that were just beautiful. You know, we wanted to touch the face of God. And so, oh my God, that's so great. But I also liked that they showed a lot of it. It wasn't just her with light shining out of her face, talking. Like, we got some visuals, and the visuals looked really good.
Yeah.
But to your earlier point, we have 30 minutes of this thing that we could have done anything else with. And actually, let's make it even tighter. You have 248 seconds that you could have used totally differently in this thing. And made it a little bit better. What did you think when she's done? Like, she gives us, here's everything. And then Sheridan asks, like, well, what do we do about it? And then she's like, blah, I mean, light vomit into your face. But what do you, like, what did she tell him? What did she share?
Jeff, I'm gonna pause you real quick. You are cutting out. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but you're cutting out. Your voice is getting all weird.
Oh.
And your video is frozen for me right now.
Oh, really?
And I'm worried that your local recordings are not going to get what you need it to get.
That would be bad. Yeah, I should. So I sound good on my side, and I'm clean on my side. I don't even have the warning thing for connection. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, I need you to open up the private chat because I can't hear a word you're saying. All I hear is you sound like Max Headroom right now.
Wow. Hi, YouTube. I hope you can hear me. Well, maybe you will afterwards. So.
Yeah, pretty much.
I wonder what's going on.
Oh, wait. Talk to me now.
Are you good now?
Yeah,
Like,
you're back. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I wonder what happened.
I have no idea.
Huh.
I have no idea. Maybe it was all on my side. It just...
Who knows?
My signal's strong, though, but who knows?
Internet's a scary place.
I'm worried about your local side of that freaking out. So I want you to go back and say what you were saying, and also I did what you said. Good luck trying to remember that.
I remember what I'm trying to remember. Did you talk about your impression of it? No, we didn't get to that point yet. So, okay. No. I'm curious, Brent, of your take. So she's just word dump. And then Sheridan's like, so what do we do about it? And then she grabs his face and like light vomits into him. And then he goes and grabs a nuke. Like, what do you think? Like, what did she what was that? Like, I'm going to tell you all this.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say, oh, and also just go blow him up with a nuke. Do you have a nuke? Go blow him. Like, why did you have to light vomit into him?
I mean, I think one, it was visually appealing. There's also the story piece of like, she has to tell him what to do, but you can't tell the audience. Because as the audience, we have to see Sheridan doing it. So rather than just cutting it, they did this. But you know what it really reminded me of was Lita was doing to Sheridan then what we saw Kosh doing to Lita.
Yeah.
Remember when he pulled out of her so fast?
Yeah, that was the Ulkesh.
That was Ulkesh, yeah. But I mean, even the other like regular Kosh pulled out of her, you know.
The method they use pretty frequently, I understand.
But here's if I can encapsulate that entire exposition dump, you know what it was? And get your finger ready. This is what happened on the ship before the Enterprise shows up and discovers the whole ship full of dead people where they seem to have killed each other. And now the episode is about figuring out what happened on that ship before the Enterprise folk kill each other. That's what that whole exposition dump was here's what happened before the Enterprise showed up, because people are starting to, fight each other and get more violent. That was my impression of that whole thing. I loved the whole piece about the Vorlons though.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of, I guess, pivoting a little bit from Lita more into what she was saying. Let me rewind just a little bit. You and I, like anybody else who is new to this show, meets the Shadows, we meet the Vorlons, or you hear about the Shadows and we've met the Vorlons.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes real clear right around season 2, especially when you see Angel Kosh. Oh, these guys are the angels. These guys are the spiritual. These guys are the good, benevolent, wanting to help people, move people through protectors, and the shadows are dark and evil, and they're black, and you know, they've got
Scary.
the black hat with the mustache, and they're twirling it, and they're the bad guys. And you kind of maintain that thought all the way until Kosh dies or is killed,
Mhm.
and Ulkesh comes in and goes just batshit crazy. Pardon my language. And the whole Vorlon fleet just starts obliterating everybody, and you're like, maybe those guys weren't actually the best. And then you get into that wonderful, amazing, beautiful episode, season 4, episode 6, whatever the name of that was.
The Long Night, I think. No, Fire.
No. Jeff, I'm so disappointed in you.
You should be. Oh my
So disappointed in you right now.
It was such a great. It was the most amazing episode.
It's got to be a top 3 episode for me for the whole series. Like, it was so good. It was such a great conclusion to that whole story. Just looking, I'm even you.
I am.
Because
I feel
want
like a
you to know.
moron. Let's see here. Into the Fire.
There it is.
I knew Fire was in there. My
There
goodness.
you go. And basically we get the, oh no, these guys basically were trying, they're just the other side of the coin from the shadows is all they are. And they're frankly all like just as bad as the shadows were.
Yeah. If not worse.
But here's the thing. We had tons of people saying that. People in our Discord community, people on YouTube and Patreon, and various people just talking about how, yeah, turns out the Vorlons are jackasses too, you know, because whatever. Even after watching Into the Fire, I still feel Vorlons are good guys, shadows are bad guys. I've never felt the Vorlons are bad guys.
Yeah. I felt like Ulkesh and the Planet Killer were bad guys, but
Yeah.
everyone else was cool.
They all lost their minds for a bit and started like, but until that moment, they were actually good guys. Like what they were doing was the right thing. They were handling it the right way. This episode though, Third Space, makes you sit back because what did they say? The Vorlons here and through Lita finally confess who and what they are. They were beings of light posing as gods who eventually believed their own lie that they were the gods.
Yeah.
That's who they say they were. And they made all these mistakes. And Lita's sitting there going, this is just one out of so many mistakes. And now I'm like, what are their other mistakes?
Right? Yeah.
What else is out there?
Killing Deathwalker. That might have been one of them.
Or not. That actually, you know, no, you don't need immortality right now. Think. Sorry.
Yeah. You do not.
Not happening. But like this right here will recolor my understanding of the Vorlons when we do Babylon 5 for the second time, more so than knowing what happens at the end of Into Fire and where they go.
It even makes me think, we just watched them a week ago, and in the beginning, how just they're like, I'm reimagining even Kosh's tone, right? We always thought like, well, you know, he's just being mysterious. No, there's straight up arrogance. Like even if Kosh, who's the cool one, there's still that like, yeah, I'm totally better than you kind of a thing. Yeah. I think it's going to have a very different view of the whole thing from go.
What did you make of, well, and then also hearing the Vorlons admit their own mistakes,
That was huge.
you know,
Which
like
to my earlier point, Dr. Trent admits her mistake, takes accountability. Here, might be a theme here.
What do you think, huh? What did you make of the idea that there is a race, yet another race, older than the Vorlons?
I think that makes complete sense. When Lorianne gave us the history of the world part 1, that's what is, you know, there was us, there's me, and my people, and then there were the others and the others and others, and eventually there were the Vorlons and the Shadows and the others.
Yeah.
So I really got the hint. But I also heard they were in an entirely different space. I don't know if it's a different universe, but they were in a different dimension. Like this was an interdimensional jump gate, essentially.
Yes. Do you know what it was? Are we out of them yet? Have we used all
Got
three?
one more. We got one
Okay,
more. I think.
I'm going to use it. Can I use it?
Yeah.
The end of Picard season 1. They're calling the AI. The wormholes are opening up and they're starting to pour through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Marvel, the Tesseract, and Loki has used it to open up the things, and the bad dudes are pouring through into the streets of New York. Like it was that kind of an idea. Yeah, they were definitely. If they were not from this universe, because the way I understand the jump gate itself, the third space thing, was you and I were right. There's normal space, there's hyperspace, and then there's third space. Third space is not necessarily where they lived as much as it is just an infinitely faster way to travel than hyperspace. And hyperspace is pretty damn fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like it puts hyperspace to shame. Like you're talking about the difference between regular travel, warp travel, going through the Stargate.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that's really the difference there between these three spaces. So third space wasn't necessarily where they were from, unless, just like you can hang out in hyperspace, they're living in the third space.
Or hyperspace and third space are the meat in the universe sandwich, right? So there's this universe, there's this universe. We can use hyperspace to cut through things. They can use third space, and third space is powerful enough it can actually be opened on both sides.
Something like that. But I think and I mentioned it in my recap, like they're from a parallel universe is kind of what I understood it to be. And the third space was the thing that opened that's the way to go between the parallel. It's how you get into. Jeez, I can't do this because we're out of references, and I'm not going to violate the rule.
That's good.
It's how you get to. It's how when in Stargate, when they have the mirror that jumps them into other things, that's how it flashes. That's third space.
Oh yeah,
it's what bridges the multiverse.
It's in Mass Effect. It's called dark space. It's where the Reapers live during the cycle or between cycles.
There you go.
It hits me too how. So Vorlon Leda says in where they're from, I forget where they're from, or in their galaxy, they've destroyed thousands of races. They want to destroy the ones here too. Yeah. It's one of those things of like they were fine genociding their galaxy. Then the Vorlons punched a hole through and they're like, oh, there's a whole other place with inferior beings? Cool. We want through. We want to destroy you also. We were fine before you came up and wanted to, touch the face of us.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You touched it, and here we are.
Right. All right. I have a question, and this is going to more focus on the nature of the third space and the beings and the revelation of what's happening in Les Leda. Did you, like, as the show's going on, and especially in that 30 minutes of like, okay, just tell me what this is. What were some of the theories maybe that kind of popped into your head? Do you remember any of them of what this thing is? Like, what is this big device that they have?
I had a hard time landing on anything. One of the things I thought was it's just an intergalactic transport. It was like a guild navigator guild navigation ship, a Highliner from Dune, could fold space, and end up wherever. It was, I went on a thing where I thought it was like almost xenomorphs that were, like there's this alien race living on this thing and it's coming out, to kill people, which is pretty close to what it was, I guess, but it was just a gate. I don't know. And I feel like so much of the emphasis was on just the people, and so I don't know. That's where I started pulling my theories of like the 100 and, the City of Light and Mass Effect and things like that. That's where a lot of those theories came, was from that kind of that space. What about you?
So I had two. I had two. One, I thought that the people who built Third Space were the original gate builders. They're the ones who built all the stuff. Like
I brought that up too. I think at one point I was like, is that the ancient ones? Are these the ancients that did this?
The ancients, right? But no, you know what I like, and I was on this for a long time throughout the course of the film, because it's something they showed us that I was like, oh, is that? And it wasn't until they said, no, it's actually this, that I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna let it go. I thought that this Third Space, this mechanism, this spire with whatever, is where the shadows came from. It's where they were birthed from. It's how they came into being. They're just shadow. And that made it that much more menacing, because this is actually what's putting more shadow. Like, this is shadows reproducing or whatever. I was on that it was the birth of the shadows. I was on that for a hot minute throughout the course of this film.
That makes a lot of sense, because so many of the effects, like the tentacles and the sharp lines and things, were very shadow-esque. I think I heard the shadow sound.
The
more
scream
than once.
thing?
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
I think I remember hearing that.
So we get to the spot where here it is. We've learned what it is. We're going, there's a moment, Jeff, I don't know about you, but I'm sitting there and I typed it in all caps in my notes, and I'm in the video. I'm like, show me the monster. Show me the monster. I want to see the monster. Because they kept like panning around it and all this kind of stuff. And then they showed us the monster. And you know what it was? It was a fish from the deep sea. That's all it was. Like, that thing was in the Mariana Trench, and you plucked it out and made it really big. That's all it is. Like,
if I'm really honest, that the space battle that was going on with the ships, flying out and everything was gorgeous and amazing, and I loved it. But everything else was really kind of disappointing. Like, so I'm Sheridan, and I'm gonna EVA myself into this thing, and it's fine. There's literal lasers and all kinds of good, but I'm just gonna, it's fine. And then I'm just gonna plant this nuke, turn it on, go away, look at a fish disappear, game over. Like, it was just like, that's it.
I was really disappointed that the answer for how Sheridan got away was he rode the shockwave.
Yeah.
Because you talk about a sci-fi trope that is just used way too much.
Well, and especially right before that happened, we saw the shockwave envelop one of the ships and blow it up. But Sheridan out there in just a spacesuit, he
surfed.
Yeah.
Like, really? Come on. I mean, Sheridan can't die because we still have another season and a half of show left to go, but
yeah, but still, it's just like, you know what? Now that you mention that alone, that might be one of the big flaws in this. Is the episode literally, or the movie started with, hey, so this horrible thing happened and we're okay now. So all the stakes were actually gone before anything happened.
Yeah, but it's the journey of how you got there.
Yeah.
How'd you get back to it? I mean, because that is, you can take that exact same thing and apply it to any television show out of any time outside of Game of Thrones. Because
Absolutely.
if your face was on the DVD cover, you were not dying unless your contract was out. And we all knew that you were dying at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's a good point.
So,
but
it just,
yeah, I mean, I think more so just, I mean, it literally just tells you. Like, we're going to tell you, I mean, it's fine. You're going to tell me the story or whatever, but I'm also never really worried. Which actually might have made it better, because I just got to sit back. Okay, cool. I'm going to enjoy the story that's going on. After he rides that wave, though, I got my other favorite Sheridan Delenn moment where he's like, hey, so I'm out of gas.
Yeah.
She's like, good for you. Good luck out there, buddy.
Delenn, this isn't funny. Yeah, it is.
It is.
It's hilarious.
I thought that scene was fantastic.
By the way, that is absolutely something my wife would do to me. You've met her. She would be like, nope, I'm not coming to get you.
That's cool.
Suck it up, Buttercup. You'll be fine.
Take a picture, send it to me. Let me see that. Like, good luck.
Babe, come on, stop playing. Stop playing, babe. Come give me.
You're good. Good luck.
Fine. You're great. Put some ice on it. You'll be okay. Take some Tylenol.
I did think also. So it was one nuclear device took this thing down.
Right?
Yeah,
This thing
and
is
it had
15 miles wide and a million years old. And yeah.
one plate size little thing that had an old, 90s style digital countdown on it that I kind of thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
I actually expected it to get to 1 and then stop. And then the artifact basically to be like, oh, this is what you're doing. I shut it down. Like, now you got to bring something. Oh, nope, just that one. Totally blew it up. Where were those nukes when the Vorlons were killing planets? Where were those at the Battle of Coriana 6? Where they're like, we need the first ones here to help us. It's so bad. And I just here in the station, there's nukes. Did no one, is that what the face vomit was? There's a nuke. I hit it over here.
And you know what we get out of this, Jeff? It's John Newcomb Sheridan rides again. That's what this is.
Totally. Yeah. Oh, do I have that one? Hold on. I do. Yeah, he gets hit. Here's the nuke, and he just goes, yeehaw. I don't have time to pay the piper, but I have that. That's good.
At least you got your priorities straight, Jeff.
Exactly. So then we get that closing monologue that was totally like noir detective, kind of stories. The dame came in and, if a little lie got her out the door, that's fine with her. That's fine with her. Fine with me too. I don't know. I felt weird about the closing monologue and where I completely lost it. And I was like, yeah, nope, I'm out. As Mr. Garibaldi has been known to say, we all lie. What? That's the huge, profound wisdom of Michael Garibaldi that you have to... What?
Yeah. This was a film. Now I'm gonna go back to my original statement. I loved this. I don't want to say I loved it. I liked this one, and I think I liked it better than I did in the beginning. Right. So I'm a fan of this film. I would rather watch this one before I watched it in the beginning again.
Okay.
At this point.
That's fair.
There was that 30 minutes of nothingness in the middle of the thing. And the ending got so rushed.
It did.
You know what I mean? Like it's almost like JMS forgot that denouement part, which he took an entire season to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so yeah. It was. I mean, maybe. Dang, I can't use that example. Yeah, it just. They could have used a little bit more on that. I thought.
It hit me. It was like they had 2 or 3 things of, hey, we're going to talk about what the truth is and what a lie is. Then we're going to have the whole rest of the movie that actually has almost nothing to do with that at all. But then we're going to intersect another thing where we talk about it a little bit. It's like, I have a really cool idea that I want to explore, and I want to explore it by offering this mistake the Vorlons made. And mistakes, truth, lies. But then we didn't really weave it into the story that much.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it felt very shoehorned in. So with that, I'm kind of curious, Brent, if I've been poking this entire conversation at this theme, this message, this something, you this week get to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 5 white stars as to how strong its sci-fi message is. Does it give us any hope for the future? Does it hold up a mirror to society? Does it show us we can be better in any way? Does it teach us a lesson of any kind? Brent, what did you find in this one?
Well, yeah, I think it did. It's a great episode of sci-fi. It's a great episode of Babylon 5. And it does the Babylon 5 thing, and I think it does it in a uniquely Babylon 5 way all the way through. There's a couple of great lines in here. It says, you can't kill them for being under outside control. Like, I can't can't kill you. Like Zach says that, I think it is.
Yeah.
Like
Zach
I
did
can't
have
kill
some
him if
really
they're
good.
under- Dang it.
He had
If it
some
was
really good
still, I'd
lines.
shoot him, but I can't because like I got to be the hero, right? Like I'm the good
We've
guy.
gone hand to hand, so we don't kill him.
Right. I also think very much like in the beginning with that whole message of pride and hubris of humanity is almost your undoing. We see that again, but this time in the Vorlons especially. There's another one where it says there's times we don't need the whole truth.
Mm-hmm.
There's just times we don't need the whole truth. And that's true. I think that's very, very true. But I loved this one. Was this Sheridan who said this at one point? Maybe it was Ivanova. Said, we have enough trouble of our own. We don't need to inherit other people's mistakes.
Yeah, I think that was Sheridan.
But with that ties right into what I think, honestly, Jeff, is the main theme really going through this whole episode, set of episodes, movie, is, and we went back to it, what is it to admit your mistake? Now, I hadn't considered Dr. Trent. I really was just considering the Vorlons and what it means. Because think about it, for them to have this echo around that they leave as a warning for future generations that might encounter this thing so they can know how to defeat it. And they're admitting their own junk. And this is the stuff that almost killed us. And it's that, again, the pride and that hubris of even the Vorlons that we saw.
Yeah.
And how this almost carrying over from in the beginning, this is the thing that will do it. Great verse from Proverbs, I think, maybe something else, but pride goes before the fall.
Right.
And I think that's really what we're saying here. But when you can admit those mistakes, you can begin to correct.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think in many ways, that's a lot of the message that I pulled out of this. Jeff, I know you kind of look like you're chomping at the bit about something over there. So I'll give you a chance before I render my White Star rating. What did you pull out of this one?
I pulled the exact same message. However, I think the message was beautiful, and I think it was the intention of this film. I have a little theory. It's going to be the intention of many of the films. It's going to be the kind of a thread through them.
Yeah.
But Brent, it was done so sloppily. And like, I think that the Dr. Trent piece, the Vorlon piece was fine, but they interspersed all this stuff, lead it at the very end. One mistake out of so many. What? Why? Why did you say that? It's tacked on. You're clouding, actually. What? And even the piece when they're walking down and Sheridan's like, we shouldn't have to inherit other people's mistakes. He goes on to say that the Vorlons made a mistake that we are having to pay for. We're not going to tell that whole truth because we don't want to encourage anyone else to do the same. What would you be encouraged? They made a mistake and they gave you the thing to tell you what to do about it. Like,
well, but at the same time, we don't want people to know that this is a thing that's out there, so they go looking for it and trying to rebuild the door. Or
rebuild. That would make sense, but that's not what I got at all. What I got was, we're not going to tell the whole truth about this mistake because we don't want to encourage people to repeat a mistake. How do you do that? Like, there's a version of this whole thing of people don't need to know about the artifact. They don't need to know about third space. 100%. That gets locked up. That gets put away. But the whole thing of the whole intersection, the whole insertion of mistake into this, I think just clouded the message a lot, at least for me.
Yeah. I think there's the natural thing of like, okay, what else did the Vorlons do? Because listen, this was a pretty mighty F up by the Vorlons.
This is big.
You know what I mean? And it's not just that they created this door to open up, and turns out the guys on the other side of that door were a bunch of MFers. Like I'm sorry, I'm trying not to we're keeping this thing PG, right? Like those guys were awful. And there's no way the Vorlons could have known that. How many times have we watched any sci-fi show ever And we go out there and do that. And, turns out those guys were awful. And we had no idea. We just now have to deal with it. Right.
Yeah.
But still, the whole other piece of the Vorlons of we were posing as their beings of light. We were posing as their gods, and we began to think of ourselves as gods, but we knew we weren't really gods. So we tried to go touch the things that we thought were gods so that we could also become gods. And it's like, wait, I thought the Vorlons were better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still think of the Vorlons as the good guys. I really do. Like, they created the telepaths and they did this and they did that. Like, I don't. Yeah. Like,
I think that's
whatever.
part of the core themes of Babylon 5. There is no true good and true bad. The total yin yang.
Sure.
There's good and
Yeah.
the bad and the good. And also just like it was a really arrogant thing to go do. And I keep coming back to, they left the message of, hey, so we really screwed up and here's what you can do about it. It wasn't just like, oh shoot, we messed that up. Cover it up. Don't tell anybody. Hopefully this doesn't come back to haunt us or kick us in the butt at all. Like, they made a mistake. They owned it and did their best to patch it up, other than just letting this thing float in hyperspace. That was not a good choice.
Well, so I don't think the Vorlons knew where it was. Like, they
That's
lost
right.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I think
you
you're right.
had like, wasn't there a thing about how like the beings on the other side of the gate started controlling Vorlons telepathically, the way that we saw them controlling people in Babylon 5?
I think so. Mhm.
And the Vorlons kind of had like almost like a civil war more than anything between the people who were affected and the people who weren't, right?
So the one
And it
side
was-
took it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so the one, like, as the door's closing or whatever, and they were probably looking to just actually destroy the thing, the ones who were connected to the other side were like, oh, no, here, let's click this over into hyperspace and they'll lose it. At least they won't destroy it so we can get back. Like,
Yeah.
guess
So
that's
those
what
are
I
my
think I heard.
thoughts.
yeah.
That sounds right. But yeah, those
Yeah.
are my thoughts on it. I think the message is clear, but I also think they threw a lot of mud into those waters as well.
That's fair. That's fair. So with that, then, Jeff, it actually falls on me to render a rating on this. A lot of times we talk about how strong the message is. We talk about how much does the show revolve around that message, regardless of the quality of the show itself, right? And the truth is, this didn't really revolve around that message. This was a horror movie. This, as you pointed out, this was a movie. This was meant to be show something with high stakes and have all this sort of stuff. And it was, these messages were woven in as we went along, but I don't know that the show or the episode really centered around this, if that makes sense. So that's gonna knock it down for me. Out of 5, I kind of want to just be right in the middle. Like 2 feels a little bit too low, 3 feels a little bit too high, but I don't want to do a fraction.
Okay.
But I think I'm going to have to, and I'm just going to go at like 2. It's like 2.5. Like, they're there. The messages are definitely there. I just don't know that it's truly what the episode was really about.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that makes sense. I have no problem with fractions.
So, Jeff, while I did the rating, you, my friend, get the opportunity now to do the what's more frankly fun part of this whole deal. You get to place this one in our 100% completely accurate and definitive ranking of the films of Babylon 5. So far, we have 2 on the list. We have in number 1 spot, In the Beginning, from last week. And then we also in number 2 spot have The Gathering, that pilot episode. Jeff, where are you placing third space on the list?
I feel like for the last, 15 minutes or so, we've been really critical of the movie. You paused at one point to reiterate that you really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I want to do the same. I really liked this movie. I shared last week when I was taking notes for In the Beginning, I struggled. Like I had to sit, I had to do 3 sittings to get through it. I did not with Third Space. I watched it right through. In fact, there were moments I had to rewind because I forgot to take notes and I was just watching the movie.
Right.
So Brent, This is going to be our new number one.
I don't disagree.
Hopefully you don't disagree out there either. And if you do, that's okay, because we all can have our own opinion. That's all right. Brent, that's it for Third Space. Tie a bow on it. We're done. Next week, we continue our trek through the films. Now, I want to talk a little bit about our order here. I'll share what we're going to watch next week in a moment, but we're going to watch this one, another one, and then we're going to dive into Crusade, because that's kind of how it happens in the chronology, and then we'll pick up the other movies after we get through Crusade. So kind of a hiccup in the watching of the movies. But as we continue into next week, we're watching River of Souls for the first time. River of Souls. We don't look anything up. We haven't seen anything. At this point with the movies, we know the names of them. That's what we know. We love playing games here on Babylon 5 for the first time, and one of our favorites is the prediction game. So, Brent, what are you going to predict happens in River of Souls?
Jeff, I've actually had a while to think about this one. When you talk about a River of Souls, there's only one thing this could be to me.
You're right. Yep.
It's the Return of the Soul Hunters.
100%.
It's the Return of the Soul Hunters. That's got to be what it is. What are they doing? Are we at their home world and there's literally like a river of these souls that they've been collecting? I have no idea. Is this a word for like the black market where the soul hunters trade each other's souls like that they've collected? I have no idea what the river is, but I'm just saying this is the Return of the Soul Hunters. That's all I got, man.
It's not bad. It's the exact same thing, except I actually have a very specific idea of what the film is going to be.
Okay.
I forget his name. I called him Murder Soul Hunter, so I will continue that. We met him in Soul Hunter.
Like episode 2 or 3 or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
What do you say?
That's the guy.
There are people out there right now that are typing the actual words he was saying in the comments right now, and I love you for it.
I know, it's awesome that you were doing it. You're not even looking it up. You're just like, come on, guys. How do you not remember?
They said it on screen.
It was there.
How did you miss it?
So clear. But there was a whole story about him. So there was Atonement, right, where we saw Dukat die. They mentioned all the soul hunters that were out there. What we heard in those early episodes was Murder Soul Hunter showed up, and like the Minbari stopped him. They didn't let him get to save Dukat's soul. That led him to madness and into Murder Soul Hunter. I think this is going to be that story.
Oh, so another like prequel of sorts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're basically, and again, kind of revolving around Atonement. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the scene of the Minbari stopping, like blocking him from Dukat.
Interesting.
I'd actually be really excited. I forget. I don't even know if the actor is still alive I don't know if he is now or but it would be cool if they just totally brought that guy back.
Sure.
And just told his story.
Sure.
I'd be really excited about that. We'll find out right here next week. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate it a bunch. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, do all the stuff, rate us, all the things that you can do. If it's a podcasting app, hit those stars. If it's YouTube, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, hit the little thumbs up, all that stuff. But all that stuff, as great as it is, what's even cooler is when you share this show with other people out there. It means the absolute world to us. So please do that. In fact, let us know you did. You can get us in the comments here. We have other links down in our show notes that you can click to communicate with us. So until next time.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, man. What's up?
Hey, so I've been wanting to talk to you about something for a while. I think you and I have a really good partnership here with this whole thing, and, I've really enjoyed the works we've put out and the things and the progress that we've made. And I think we could take this to the next level, like we could really just do right by each other. Hey, listen, don't worry about it. I shouldn't have said anything. I'm just going to get the hell out of here now.
Initiating getting the hell out of here maneuver.
After you were talking about pizza so much, I'm just imagining like a pizza lasagna or maybe even like an enchilada lasagna, because you ever make that word? Oh, sorry, I had somebody else inside of me. I just
Jeff, that is not going to sell on the podcast, the audio version of the podcast, but I like it here.
Yeah, it's not going to work at all. But hey, you know what? We've said it so many times. This is the show.
This is the show.
This is the real show.
All right, I had one note that I didn't bring up in the deal.
Okay.
Yellow Star Furies. Now, I later saw that they were maintenance things, but basically it was like big yellow Star Furies. Like
they looked, with the same like front gate thing. And
yeah. I was like, whoa, took me out. That's why I didn't actually mention it, because it didn't actually matter.
I didn't say it when I watched it in my reaction, and I'm nervous saying it now, but we saw the one maintenance worker in that thing a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's like, is this Babylon 5's Porkins? Oh. I was excited. A note that I didn't share. When did you pick up that the writing on the artifact that was lighting up was Vorlon?
So everything about these people read Vorlon to me, because like the ships that we saw looked Vorlon.
Totally.
So I did not pick up that the writing was Vorlon until Sheridan said that's Vorlon writing, and I was like, oh, of course it is.
Yeah,
like I recognized the ships. I don't remember if I saw the ships before or after that point. I really don't remember the order of it, but like it was just one of those like, oh, of course that's what that is.
Yeah.
So, but I did not look at it and have a suspicion beforehand myself.
I thought it was cool. It reminded me of when we were staring at Kosh's ship way back, and then it like put a message up there for Sheridan. I was like, oh, it's like lighting up and whatever, and it was kind of cool. I liked how it sucked the energy too out of things. Like that was a really cool touch. It was a really good MacGuffin. Like it was a good thing, like it was well thought out. It looked good. I don't know. I don't have to watch River of Souls, but like I kind of want to watch this one again. Kinda.
There you go.
Full confession. Club 65, a little behind the scenes. It takes a lot for us to prepare for these episodes, and I horrendously underestimated how much more it was going to be to work with a movie than with an episode. It's so much.
Yeah, I found myself not taking certain notes that I think I normally would have during because it's more, because a lot of times we have like just the observational notes.
Yeah.
Of like, yeah, that happened. And I'm like, I kind of said to myself, if it's one of those, I'm just going to let it go and not make that note.
I'd made those in the beginning, and if you on Patreon, you can see my notes, like they're just a mile long, and it was difficult. And there's still a lot of them on mine for this, but they're tighter. Still kind of figuring out how to do notes for the movies. By the time we get through all of them,
yeah, we'll have it locked down.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movies really are a different animal.
Yeah.
For sure. Which makes me really glad that when we did get to the two-parters throughout Babylon 5 that we actually
broke them up
separately.
Yeah.
Despite everybody else telling us not to. I was like, no, actually I'm kind of glad we did. So
It's still, and it was the first time experience. That's what it was.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
What do you say?
I remember when I was doing Beam Me Up with Matt, one of the kind of rules we said was we were going to take anything that was like a multi-episode like plot, like arc, we were going to do those all just as one episode. Like just for the sake of what Beam Me Up was and what we were trying to get through, we're just going to tackle those as one. And so there's a lot of two-parters. We would do those as one, which is fine. But there's a couple of times we hit like a 3 or a 4-parter. And it was like, oh no.
Yeah. for Starfleet Leadership Academy, because of the way that parses out, I do 2-parters as one because I need to tell the whole story. I can't, it's random. And that's tough. Like, it definitely is a huge, heavier lift, but I made the mistake. I think I've shared it here before, but I didn't know how to work the Picard series into it, because you can't single episode that the way it's told. Discovery you can, because it's, even though it's hyper serialized, there's still mostly self-contained episodes, where Picard really wasn't. And so I think it was my 50th episode. I think I did it for the 50th episode. Such a dumb idea. I'm going to do the whole season. That's what it is. I'm going to do the whole season. That episode, Brent, I think is like 58 minutes long that I put together. It took me 38 hours.
That's nuts.
Because I had to watch.
And your normal Starfleet Leadership Academy episodes are only about 30 minutes.
Yeah, they're only about 30. I try to keep it between 25, 35, right in there. And those still take about 7 to 9 hours to put. And a lot of that time is watching, the stuff. And in that, I pull.
Counts though.
It all counts, yeah. And I pull a lot of drops from the episodes down, so a lot of it's hunting for that stuff and getting it. And that was with Picard. There's like 10 hour-long episodes I had to watch at least twice, and then pull stuff out of. And
well, I mean,
that was dumb.
so just for one of these episodes, Jeff, I don't know how many hours you spend to do one of these, but I watch the episode, I take my notes, I actually spend time. If I got the recap, I got to write the recap. And then just the recording time. By the time we hit publish on this thing, and then even on the backside, like you do most of the editing, and I'm going to put that in quotes because there's, we've got this streamlined pretty well. Yeah. But even by the time we get through all of that, I've probably got 5, 6, 7 hours per episode in myself, and you do a little bit more than I do. Maybe a little less, maybe 4 or 5 hours per episode. But that was sort of like what we got to like episode 8 is a part of the, like, can we use that time as more content, which is what led to the Brent Watches videos. And eventually led to Jeff Watches videos, and then created this whole monster that we actually had no idea that was going to be there, and has made this ride so much better. So much better.
Totally. Yeah. I don't hate the hours, it's totally worth it. It's awesome.
I'm still having fun with it, man. I'm still having fun. There's a few times where it gets to be a little bit of a drag, but for the most part, I'm just thoroughly enjoying the whole process, man.
Yeah. Same. So, it's awesome. Thank you all for being here for it. So with that, Brent, let's call it a night. Oh, I didn't do the thing.
Well, I'm on the different computer now. I'm on the old computer. Doesn't do it. So thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you guys next time. Peace out.